Guys, welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We have the awesome Tasha Starr in the house with us. Aiden Mir with us in the house. The lovely and amazing Maria Blacut in the house with us. We got the awesome Dan Feldman with us. The awesome Andrew Coates in the house. All right, guys, welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We have the awesome Tasha Starr in the house with us. Tasha, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. It always sounds kind of funny, like even though I hit the record button before I hit the record button, I say, how are you doing? So I know, but then it's like, it's something I always say once we hit the record button again.
You can never ask too many times how someone's doing, especially these days.
Exactly. I guess so. But no, thank you again for your time today. And I know you're going to deliver a lot of good value to the listeners and just like aspiring fitness coaches or even seasoned veterans. So let's dive into it. My first question is, how long have you been a fitness coach and what is working really well for you to just generate leads online?
So I started out back in 2014, really lightly. I mean, that was kind of after my first year of competing. I kind of just fell into the role. As I mentioned to you guys again, before we hit record, I had been practicing psychotherapy before that. So it was kind of a natural transition to want to help people and sort of combine the two passions of sort of the mental, emotional stuff. And then also my love for competing and my competitive nature and physical. I do like to approach things, even with myself, from a whole perspective. So just so many things go hand in hand, your mind, your gut, how your body performs, all that stuff. Like it needs to all be working in conjunction for you to make the most progress. So I just kind of figured all these things I love doing, I'm interested in, I do on myself. Why can't I just transition that to other people? So That's how I kind of got into it. And then in terms of generating leads on social media, I ended up getting kind of a little bit lucky in the beginning. I want to say, I wish I had been on Instagram earlier than I got on it, because I think I could have even done better in terms of growth early on. Like now it's so difficult, but when things started, it was crazy. Like one little thing and boom, you took off, which is literally what happened with me. I'm sure you guys all know Bradley Martin. Yeah. He had done some little like challenge on his page about wanting to post motivational transformations. And he said, like, if you have a good transformation, DM me your pics. And it wasn't even transformations that he had done. It was just general. And I got picked as one of them. And I literally, I think 1,500 followers to like 12,000 followers overnight. Wow. And I woke up to my Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, what happened?
That's cool. That's awesome.
It became like a little game. And back then everyone was doing like post for post or share for share. So just kept feeding off other Instagram people and, you know, kind of in the same following category as you, and everyone was sort of building each other up. And I miss the OG Instagram, but that's kind of how I got going. And honestly, Instagram has by far been my number one means for getting clients. And then secondary to that, now that I've built a name and a reputation for myself, obviously word of mouth has been too. But I mean, it's the cheapest, best marketing tool that you can use if you use it properly.
Yeah, that's awesome though. And thanks for sharing that story. And it's like, I mean, who cares if it was luck or whatnot, but it's like now you've actually, you know, handled business, you've been serving people and, you know, changing their lives. So that's awesome, you know, and I know I agree with you on missing the old OG. It's kind of lame right now. I'm not going to lie. So, you know, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so my next question is, like, what do you do like differently than like maybe any other like online coaches do out there, like with their clients? So kind of like analogy I like to use is, let's say you stay at like a 1-star hotel versus a 5-star hotel, right? You can tell the night and day difference, right? So what do you do with like your clients to give them like that 5-star kind of like client, like hotel experience?
Yeah. I think one of my biggest things is just being extremely intensive and hands-on in as many ways as possible. And I've tried to build up my knowledge in a way that supports that. So being able to provide them everything they need in one spot, having the background in psychotherapy, like I mentioned, so I can provide emotional, mental support that most coaches can't because they simply don't have the training there. I've done extensive research and reading on hormones, gut health, supplementation, all that stuff, so I can implement the proper supplements so my clients, have that support there. I also did specialization courses in biomechanics and muscle mechanics. So I literally view their training videos and I can optimize each workout and each exercise for their own body and their own biomechanics. My check-ins even, I recently developed a tier system, so that changed things slightly, but on my most intensive tier system, check-ins are like every 3 days, and that's for lifestyle. So I don't give people the opportunity to have a whole week without a check-in where a lot can happen, whether a stressful situation sets you off or you have a question that you don't get answered or whatever. And, your progress is staggered because you're not getting support as often as you may need. So it's just, I try to offer a lot more intensive support in as many ways as I can so that they're getting the best out of their experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to say, that's a pretty unique kind of like check-in process.
Yeah, I've never heard
every
that.
3 days like that, because like you said, it's kind of like ultra support, ultra accountability, to where it's just like, man, like the chances of them kind of like failing and not being adherent and consistent are super like low, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And have you noticed like the difference, like just by doing those 3-day check-ins, like are your clients a lot more responsive as opposed to like, let's say a week out?
Yeah, absolutely. And funny that you mentioned that, because I did, like I said, when I developed the new tier system for things, essentially what I was working on with this marketing team was figuring out a way to have my efforts match what the cost is of my coaching. So I did want to provide a more low cost, cost efficient option for people. And I've had a few people sign up on that tier, and I feel a big difference, and I'm almost struggling with it myself. Like, I understand the purpose of it, but I feel like I can't be as engaged with them. And there's so much room for error. Like, one of the clients that was in that tier, it was 2 weeks between a check-in, and there was like 2 different times where she fell off or she had a question about something, and it's not as involved. So I really, really encourage the higher tier coaching options when working with me, just because, like you said, like, the chance of failure is so much less with those options that it is when, most coaches do a weekly check-in or an every other week check-in. So
yeah. And then the accountability is off the roof, like with that. Yeah. So let's shift gears here, Tasha. I want to talk about breaking past self-limiting beliefs as like a business owner, entrepreneur, because it's huge, and we all deal with those even still till today. So let's talk about like the fear of failure, fear of getting started, imposter syndrome, comparison syndrome, or a scarce money mindset. Which one of those, or even like let's say a handful of those, did you deal with before starting your business and just taking action, and how'd you overcome that?
I think fear of failure was probably one of my biggest things, especially in the last 2 years when I initially started on my own as a coach. Then I worked with a company for 5 years, and then now I went back on my own. It'll be 2 years this July. And like, that was such a scary moment for me, was trying to branch out on my own again after being with such an established brand for so long and wondering, like, am I going to be able to do this by myself? But also knowing how much I've overcome in the past. And, I think it's so important to believe in what you're capable of achieving. And so many people don't give themselves enough credit. And you can't be afraid to take chances, because most of the time you're going to end up accomplishing something great, whether that comes from what you learned through the whole process or whether that achieving the actual goal. So it's all in how you look at things and view things. And, I've eventually built myself up to a point where I can't even see failure as an option, because I know in one way or another, I will gain something from my experience. So even when I quote unquote do fail or don't achieve that actual goal, it doesn't feel that way because I know I still learned along the way. Like I could say I failed by not staying with that successful company, but then I ended up doing so much better by leaving. So I think that's a big challenge for a lot of people. And then, like you said, sort of like self-limiting and thinking that you can't do something before you even try. And, you know, you really have nothing to lose in trying. So that's kind of, again, like I said, you're either going to learn or you're going to end up achieving a massive goal in taking that chance. So another thing that I like to always remind myself of is that if I'm not willing to try something or do something, there's going to be someone else out there that will, and they're going to be the ones that sort of secure that spot or achieve that goal where I most likely could have if I had made that same effort. So
yeah,
things.
Yeah, 100%. And like, there's this quote by Mark Cuban. I don't know if I'm going to butcher it or not, but he says like, work like somebody's going to take it away from you in 24 hours. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you don't even try it, then man, you know, it's kind of like you already lost, you know, by not even trying. So I love that kind of like mindset that you have with that. So let's kind of have some fun kind of ending this. And what I want to kind of ask is, let's say that you were granted a Super Bowl commercial. Okay. And the Super Bowl commercial is like 30 seconds. We'll say it's 30 seconds, but you're able to kind of like give a message to aspiring, like, you know, online coaches or just fitness coaches in general from all the experience and stuff that you've like, you know, acquired. So what would that commercial be?
That commercial, I think, would be something along the lines of being willing to go the extra mile in the beginning to achieve the reward in the end. Because so many people are so focused on making money now and not realizing that sometimes it takes a lot of time and effort. Like, I am to the point now where I sit at home, I do my client check-ins, my schedule is exactly the way I want it. Whereas, you know, if I hadn't made the effort in the beginning and like put extra care into my client work and put extra care into getting my name out there and building a good reputation, maybe I would be out there working a job where I'm on my feet all day, or I'm at a desk all day, or I'm doing something that I'm not really truly loving and sort of not having control over how I want my job to be. Whereas, you know, in the beginning, yeah, I took a hit. Sometimes I took clients on for next to nothing in terms of monthly payments. Sometimes I didn't make clients pay at all.
Yep.
The hours I put in, the extra like little things I would do where I wouldn't charge people just to, again, like build my name and build my brand to now get to the point where I can sit back a little more. So don't be afraid to push extra hard in the beginning. Something along those lines of like, maybe someone's running really, really far with football. Getting pushed ahead and he finally gets there and makes the goal and everything's good. So
yeah,
great message.
Tasha, I would say just that's a mic drop right there. Yeah, but no, it's good. And we tell our students this all the time too, just patience, like, you know, A to B, not A to Z, just put in the work. Like nobody gets to that point just overnight. So I really appreciate the honesty.
Awesome.
Yeah. So where can the listeners just follow what you're doing and just learn more about all the cool stuff you're doing?
So again, my Instagram's pretty much my primary social outlet. I wish I had time for all the other fun stuff like TikTok and YouTube, but I really try to drive all my energy into one thing in the best way possible. So at Tasha_star_fitness. And hopefully I will have a website up at some point this year as well, just to give some people a little more concrete information. But I'm really responsive. If you DM me, I'll get back to you super quickly. So that's definitely the best way to get in touch with me.
Awesome. Right on. We'll have that linked up in the show notes. Guys, go follow Tasha. She's doing some cool stuff. And if you didn't get one takeaway from this, I don't know, go back and listen to it again. But once again, Tasha, thank you again for your time and just everything else.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys, until next time. All right, guys, welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We have Aidan Muir with us in the house. Aidan, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. I didn't want to butcher your name, and I know you're in Australia, so I was kind of like, I had like a little sweat dripping down my head because I thought we maybe got the time wrong. So I'm glad that you made it on.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
Yeah. So again, thank you for your time. I know you're going to, deliver a lot of good stuff within this segment to, aspiring coaches, fitness professionals. It could even be RD. So let's jump into it. So my first question is, how long have you been a fitness professional, and what is your go-to lead generation tactic right now that's helping you get clients online?
So I've been a dietitian for about 4.5 years actually. And I was doing a little bit of like nutrition work before that, but nothing crazy. But like that was during university. So like you could call it 5-6 years. And my go-to lead generation strategy is honestly Instagram. Like I do a lot of, so I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. And like, honestly, like 50-60% of my clients are actually Brisbane based.
Oh, wow.
Most of them still see me online, but even for the local clients, like it is coming from Instagram in some way, as in everybody who books in has followed me on Instagram first. Every word of mouth referral stems from something that started on Instagram, like either a powerlifting coach started following me on Instagram, or like a client booked in through Instagram and then word of mouth from there to their friends. But it all stems back to Instagram. That's the be all and end all lead generation for me, is how I view it.
Man,
Yeah.
so I mean, it sounds like Instagram's on fire for you. So you got to share with us a little bit of like the secret sauce. What are you doing that's making like people just gravitate towards this?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it was a lot of trial and error. Like I say this to a few people, but like I felt almost autistic when it came to Instagram, as in like it just did not come naturally. Like it's literally like I've watched what other people have done, overthought it, and copied to a certain degree. Like obviously it's all original, it's all authentic, it's all of these things. But it's like if I see somebody doing something good, I'm like, can I implement that? Like, for example, one of the first things that started to make things take off for me is that like I was never putting my face up on, I wasn't doing videos, I wasn't doing anything like that. I wasn't even posting photos of myself. It was just like photos of food, maybe some infographics. One of the big game changers to me was I started doing Saturday Q&A, which is where I just do a Q&A every Saturday. I've done that every single Saturday for like 2 or 3 years now, where I just put up a question box and I just answer, and like it's speaking, and I'll write the caption as well, but like I'll just speak and I'll just answer. So that way, face to a name. Like people just don't book in if they don't see your face. If they've never heard you speak, are they going to want to book in? Like it feels like they know you if they have done that. So like, and like that concept, like I just saw a strength coach doing that, and I was like, oh, I think I can do that. Let's give it a crack. And like it gets better over time. So like almost all of my best ideas I've seen somebody else doing first, and then I've just implemented it and just like slowly try to get better. So if I look back every 6-month period, hopefully my content is better and helps more people and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's a great little tactic. So I appreciate you sharing that. So my next question is just like, so you've been at this for a little bit over 4 years, you said. So what's kind of like your client experience that nobody else can really replicate, to where people are just like, this is exactly why I'm being coached by Aiden in his program, because he's doing this and nobody else can do that, and I can't get the same client experience.
And that retains clients too.
Yeah, so I'll answer that in a few ways. Like one of the things in terms of, I think, client experience, like what am I offering that nobody else is offering, is that honestly, it's me. Like the fact that firstly, there's not many male dietitians. Like if I look in Brisbane, to be specific, there's one other male dietitian who's a powerlifting dietitian, and he's similar to myself. Like I don't only see powerlifters, but it's like there's only one other person who's similar to me, and we're both kind of booked out. So it's kind of like there's not a real competition. Like it's like we're very individual people. People choose the coach. They don't choose whatever the system is. Like that's where I think my uniqueness comes into play. But it's like, what am I doing that no other dietitian is doing? Once again, I've stolen this from other coaches. Like I looked around, I'm like, well, what do bodybuilders, like I don't see bodybuilders, like I don't see them during prep or anything like that, but I'm like, what do bodybuilding coaches do that's better than what I do, or better than what a lot of dietitians do? And it's more communication. Like a lot of dietitians will see their client once and then they'll probably see them in a month's time, and there's almost no communication in between those sessions. That's a big gap in the market. I know coaches in other fields don't do that. Like that's just what dietitians do. So my solution, which has helped retention, helped results, helped everything like that, is just weekly written check-ins. It's literally just a check-in form. It's got 10 questions and they send it through. And if they don't send it through, because like honestly, when people have a bad week, they don't want to send it through. I'll just like shoot them a message. It's not an automated thing. Like I literally get on Instagram or whatever it is, shoot them a personalized message and being like, hey, just a friendly reminder to do the check-in, blah, blah, blah. They know that I've taken the time to do that. They get the vibe that I'm a busy person, but like it's important enough that I'm like, this communication, it's such a little thing, but it's so important. And like beyond that, obviously just like sending messages here and there, just out of the blue, like it's nothing crazy, but it's like, that's such a small use of time that has a massive impact. And like, I've measured this. Like there was one, because I do the check-ins on a Monday, and there's one Monday where I was just like, I actually just don't want to work this weekend. Like I went away for a conference. I was like, I just want a day off. Hey, and did the bare minimum that day, where if people didn't send their check-ins through, I just didn't respond to them. I didn't chase them up, I should say.
Yeah.
And I kept stats on it, and it's like a lot of those people who didn't send it through dropped out. And it's kind of like the simple fact of chasing them up and keeping that communication going so that there's no 2-week stretch where there's no communication massively helps retention.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest game changer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we teach our students too, is there's got to be some sort of check-in every single week, and that's what we used to do for a long time. Is we used to do like a 15-20 minute one where like literally it was objective data, it was subjective data. And then, what that helps out is just the accountability aspect, it's the support aspect, and then implementation, so they stay adherent and consistent, right? And get results.
100%.
Yeah. And I love what you said. I love what you said earlier, that the clients are buying coaches, right? So that's what I always say. They're buying coaches, not coaching. And it's like, they're buying you. They want to get to know you, and they want you to lead them. So I love it, man. So let's shift gears into breaking past self-limiting beliefs. And I know we all have these, right? And I'm sure you struggled with some of these like before you got started. So fear of getting started, fear of failing, comparison syndrome, imposter syndrome, or a scarce money mindset. Which one was your biggest, little devil on your shoulder talking to you before you took action with your business?
Yeah, I suppose there's a few of them. Like obviously the fear of failure is a big one. There's two limiting mindsets. So I'll start with fear of failure. Let's use that Saturday Q&A thing. Why did I hold off for so long? Like I had that idea and then I waited for a while, and like I started doing it when I had like 1,000 to 3,000 followers on Instagram, somewhere in that range. And like when I first did it, I was like, I don't think people are going to ask questions. Like I think there's going to be like 4, and like I'll be exposed. Everyone's going to see that I've put this up and nobody cares what I have to say. And then I asked it, and it was like 20 or 30 questions day one. Like, and it was like, I could have started that a year earlier and it would have like been dramatically good for my business. I'm not fully over these things as well. It's kind of like TikTok, for example. TikTok's exploding. I haven't posted a single thing on there. I haven't used TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why am I not doing it? Like, it's partly because I have no interest, but it's like, if you think about it, if all I cared about was business growth and stuff like that, it would make sense to be on there. Like, let's be realistic. It's the easiest way to grow an audience and stuff like that. So not completely over it, but I don't think you need to 100% solve these things like to get to where you want to be. But beyond that, the other limiting belief, the biggest one I found for me, is caring what other professionals, other dietitians think about me versus caring about what my clients think. The big struggle I had on Instagram that almost every coach early on is going to face is most coaches, dietitians, whatever, are pretty supportive people. We follow other coaches, dietitians, whatever it is, and we like their posts and we comment occasionally and stuff like that. My first 3 years on Instagram, my audience was mostly other nutrition professionals. And that sounds really bad, but it's kind of like, it makes sense. And I see it with heaps of other people. When they have 1,000 to 3,000 followers, it's mostly not target clients. It's mostly like other people in their circle. And that therefore means if you're creating content and you're basing it on the engagement that you get as a metric, you're basing it on the engagement of the wrong people. This is how people fall into a trap of like communicating to other coaches and stuff like that versus communicating to who they're trying to get. My way around that was like, and this is like, it's going to sound like a shady tactic, but like, it was like, I was like, well, what do I care about? I obviously care about more than powerlifting, but this is an easy way of this circle. I started following power lifters in Brisbane to start off with, but then all across Australia, because pretty much all of my clients are Australian, liking a couple of their photos, maybe commenting, just being like, nice lift, bro, or something like that, like something authentic. Like I'd actually watch the video and like give a genuine comment, and just I'd follow them, and there's like a 20% chance that they follow back. Yeah. And then eventually got to the point that like, if I followed 100 people a day, which I don't recommend doing, that's probably a bit too much. If I followed 100 people a day, 20 would follow back. Over time, it got to the point that like half my audience was that, instead of it just being all dietitians and nutrition professionals. And that therefore means if I create shareable content, which is the goal, it's my target market sharing it versus other coaches, professionals, whatever. That was the biggest thing. And like just shifting gears from being like, oh, I care what other dietitians think about me, to being like, I'd rather create content that flops amongst other dietitians. but succeeds for who I'm trying to attract. That took ages to get over. But once it was over, like that's all I think about now. I don't care what other dietitians think of me, but it took ages to get to the point.
That's awesome.
And that's so relatable because we worked with Eric Helms and Lane Norton, and they were our coaches. And every time I'd write an article or did a video, I'd always make sure that I have to really make sure that the scientific literature is on point and references and stuff. And it was such a limiting belief because it's like, dude, they're probably they're not even going to watch it or read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a funny example. I had another dietitian message me this. They put up a post and somebody tagged Lane Norton. And this other dietitian messaged me. They're like, "Can you double check my post? Like, make sure it's accurate. Like, just in case, like Lane rails me on one of his posts."
Yeah, it's so funny, man. It really is. So let's switch gears here and let's have some fun to kind of conclude this. So let's say you had a Super Bowl commercial ad for about 30 seconds, and it had to be advice to an aspiring fitness professional. What would that or RD? What would that message be for them?
Give me a second to think. I think. I don't know how I'd word this in a way that like is a neat package for a Super Bowl.
Sure.
I think trial and error and being okay with failure. Like even to this day, one of the things that's most useful for me, I find, is being willing to do something in public. Like I'm at the point where it's like 30,000 followers on Instagram now. That's not massive, but it's the point that's like, hey, this is public. Like people see this shit. Like it's like doing something like that. And it can go bad, but if you never try new things, you might miss out on like an opportunity of something working and finding. And it's like trial and error, giving stuff a proper crack as well. Like you don't just try something and it flops and then you never try that again. You got to try a couple of times, try and make it better. All these kind of things. You don't nail stuff on the first try. So literally just like having patience, but also if something's not working, you got to give up on it. So I don't know how I'd package that, but like for any form of social media, you've got to try new things. For any form of lead generation, you've got to try new things, but you also have to stick with it. Like nothing that works just like works in the first week. Like
exactly.
You've got to stick with it and be consistent to generate leads, basically.
Yeah. Now, well said, Aiden. And it just goes back to just test and test some more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right on, man. So thanks so much for just all this value that you gave. I know that it just definitely like one of the fitness professionals or anyone that's listening to this is going to get some form of value from it. So where can our audience connect with you and just see all the cool stuff that you're doing?
So the easiest place, I'd probably say the easiest place is just my Instagram. So Aiden_the_dietitian. I'm trying to put out daily content and stuff like that. And like, even if you're just like watching to see what I do, just to see what's working, not because you care about nutrition content, but just seeing like what's working. Just like I follow other people just to see what's working. That's where I think it'd be most interesting.
Cool. Awesome.
Right on. So we'll have that linked up in the show notes. So guys, go follow Aiden, see what he's doing. He's obviously doing something right. He's having success. So Aiden, once again, thank you so much for your time.
Legends. Thank you.
All right, guys, until next time. All right, guys, welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We have the lovely and amazing Maria Blacut in the house with us. How you doing, Maria?
Hello, how are you guys? So happy to be with you, Eric and Chris. Thank you very much for having me on.
You're very welcome. And we're all in the same state, Texas. So you're in Houston, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So no, this is going to be fun. And I know you're going to deliver a lot of wisdom and stuff to the audience. So yeah. So let's get this going. So my first question to you is, how long have you been a fitness professional, and what is the number one lead generation strategy tactic that's been working for you to get online clients?
Well, if I tell you how long I've been online, okay. I was thinking you were asking me how long I've been a personal trainer, and that would give my age. And I don't want to tell people my age. No, just kidding. Okay, I'll answer both questions since you asked. I've been a trainer for 30 years. Can you imagine?
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
And online about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And my main platform is Instagram. It used to be Instagram. But now I get a lot of clients from TikTok, believe it or not, a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to share.
Much to the embarrassment of my kids. Like my kids are, Mom, I can't believe you're on TikTok. That's so embarrassing, but I'm on TikTok.
Okay. So you got to share some of the secret sauce and secrets with us. What's working on there?
You know what? I give the same advice I give on Instagram. Like, people think that TikTok is like for teenage dances and that stuff. Yeah, it is. But there's a lot of people also in the fitness realm, a lot.
Sure.
And everybody has their own jive, right? Basically, what I do is I do a lot of inspirational stuff. So I found what works for me more than just giving a little 30-second talk is actually showing myself working out, and I put like some really inspirational music in the background, and I talk, just saying something inspirational or giving a bit of instruction like how to do a squat or a deadlift. But people like to be inspired. They like to like listen to some, and like I train people over 40, right? Like, we're the Generation X. So what works for me is I put music from my generation. So I put myself working out there, and I put Led Zeppelin.
You put the good stuff.
See, that's clever.
People love it. Honestly, they love it. I've had some TikToks that have gone viral, like really blown up just because I did that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, I've had a couple people on, like in previous coaches corners, that have said about TikTok. So this is interesting. So, I mean, what is the difference? Are you sharing those TikTok videos like on Instagram Reels to kind of repurpose, and then like, are people just like raising their hands when they see one of your videos, and then you're just sparking conversation through TikTok?
All right. Well, that's a good question, because up until a month ago, I used my TikToks for my Reels. But now, and pay attention to this, Instagram has published that they will not show Reels that have the TikTok
logo
watermark.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
They have made it very clear. So it's a pain in the neck. So basically, I use the same video, but I can't just refurbish it. Like, I need to take the logo off. So yeah, basically I just have to, I film one I put for TikTok, and the other one I have to add the music and captions and everything for Instagram. And Instagram Reels work really well for me. I do a lot of Instagram Reels, and I've increased my viewers by a lot just with Reels, because they say video is the new today. Like, everything is going to be video. People are sick of looking at pictures because photos, as we know, can be photoshopped, they can be changed, they can be edited. But video, I mean, you are what you are. Maybe you can put a filter, but you can't really change the way you look and the way you talk and who you are. Video is the way to go, honestly, both on TikTok and using Instagram Reels.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. And so my next question is just kind of like, with all the experience that you've had, and like right now, like specifically you work with, females that are over 40, which is a great little like niche. What do you do to where it's just like a client experience to where it's like, this is exactly why I work with Maria, that nobody can replicate this. This is exactly why I stay in this community. Is there something that you do just like client experience wise that just completely just blows like everybody else out of the water?
Yeah. You know what? One thing I learned a long time ago is you can give a client the perfect program. You can give them the perfect nutrition plan. You can, everything perfect. They can have the perfect clothes on, everything. Like, you can be the best PT in the world, but what matters is how you make them feel. Mm-hmm. That's what matters. Like, if the client gets a good feeling with you, like if you make them feel happy and empowered and yes, I can do this, like, it's not about you, it's about them. And that has worked so well with me because I focus on how people feel with me. So I give my clients my attention. I'm like listening to them. I give them my attention. I make them feel important. That worked very well on the floor as well. Like, I gave them my attention. I was listening to them. I wasn't talking about me. I was talking about them. And online, it's the same thing. Like, it's about them feeling empowered and good and happy. So for example, you can give a client a program that's way too hard, that's just too challenging, and they can't do it. And then they feel that they're a failure. It's better to give them a program that they're actually going to be successful at, maybe even a little easy. But once they begin feeling that success and you go, yes, you could do, I told you you could do it, I'm so proud of you. Then, people begin feeling encouraged, and then they take on more and more. And all of a sudden they have that really tough program you wanted to give them at the beginning. So it is, the secret sauce is how a client feels with you, the feeling they get.
I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, dude, come on. I was literally watching this video, watching this interview, and you literally just pop up on the screen and interrupt it. Trust me, there's a good reason for this. Just hold on, and I'm gonna let you get back to that interview or that video. Trust me, all right? So the reason why I stopped you on this is because we're giving away our book 100% free. Okay, so if you're a frustrated fitness professional, you're not growing fast enough, you're looking to future-proof and recession-proof your business by adding online training, or if you're doing online training, you want to scale and grow faster, all you have to do is check out our new book. We're giving the audio away, we're giving the PDF away. So all you have to do is click the link below in the description box and get your free copy. All right, so now back to the video.
Yeah,
That's
100%. And to be honest, Maria, like when we did like coaching online for 7 years straight, that was kind of our secret sauce, was just like, we saw a lot of people hiding behind keyboards, sending emails, but we like literally got on video. We did phone calls. We like made them feel very important, special. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you actually said that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like they're hiring you because they want to be heard, understood, and valued, right? And they're hiring you for hope, accountability, and certainty. And as a coach, we should be delivering that type of service.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? You can find a fitness program and a nutrition plan online. Like you can just Google it, right?
Yeah.
What you can't find is a person who cares and a person who listens. And a lot of people just want you to listen to them.
Exactly.
You know, what's going on in why are they having trouble? And so much, by the way, is mindset.
Yeah.
Like so much, you guys know this, fitness and nutrition and losing weight is mindset. It's just believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Believing that you can do it.
Yeah.
And if you help a client with their mindset, it's 80%. I swear, it's 80% of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you. So let's shift gears into that mindset thing. So my next question for you is, obviously, like as entrepreneurs, even in fitness, right? We all deal with self-limiting beliefs, such as the fear of getting started, the fear of failure, comparison syndrome, imposter syndrome, or maybe even a scarce money mindset. So which one of those limiting beliefs were you struggling with most before you just, that was like kind of prohibiting you from taking action on your business? And how did you overcome that?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, I like
I
it.
had all of them. I mean, it's hard to put yourself out there, especially online. Like when I began, I was like 51 and I was like, who on earth is going to want to hire me? Like there's all these hot lady coaches out there who want to hire me, but actually a lot of people. You know what? I spend a lot of time on my mind, just as much time as I spend on my body, probably more. I do it on my mindset. So I get up in the morning, I meditate every single day religiously. Like I just put my mind on focus. I journal. I have a little gratitude journal. Maybe it takes me the whole thing half an hour in the morning, but I do all that because I am haunted by ghosts, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like huge ghosts that say I'm too old, that I'm ridiculous, that who do I think I am? All sorts of ghosts. And I look at people on Instagram every day who are like incredibly good looking and young and everything that I'm not. And I think, oh my God. So one has to overcome that. And that's it, because either you overcome it or you sink.
Yeah.
Two options. So I thought, no, that's it. I only have one life, and this is my chance. And if I rather just die failing than not try at all. But working on my mindset is huge. I work on it. I don't just let it happen. I really, really work on it. Like I have all of the tools. I have my affirmations, my visualization. I do it all, and it really works.
Yeah. And I love that. It's just the same analogy of like a muscle, right? Like if you're trying to build muscles, it's like you have to put in the daily sets and reps. Same thing with your mindset to build focus, discipline, honor, character, attitude, self-belief, like all those things. People just don't really understand that though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you looked at my training logs, I have like this of training logs of all that I've trained. Like people ask me, like, how do you have that physique? And I'll say, let me pull out my training logs. I'll show you. Same thing. How are you so focused? How are you so positive? Let me pull out my journals, my gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm.
A thing this big of just things that I'm grateful for. I can do it. Yes, Maria, you're hot. You're awesome. You're the coolest person on earth.
Yeah.
Everything. Like if you saw if somebody ever read those things, it would be the most embarrassing thing of life, because the things I say to myself, oh my God, I hope nobody reads them. I should go lock them up.
No, that's
the things I say to myself. But it helps me, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and to be honest, Maria, we'll set the record straight here. You look great. With all due
Yes.
respect, you're in phenomenal shape, and you got
Yes.
great energy. Okay, so I had to point that out. So let's kind of wrap this up with some fun here. Let's say you were granted a 30-second Super Bowl commercial that was going to get millions and millions of views. Okay, and that commercial ad had to be specifically to an aspiring fitness professional with your 30 years plus of experience. What would that message be?
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot.
I know.
This is for a fitness professional?
Yeah. Aspiring fitness professional.
Okay, I think what I would say is, as a fitness professional, you have a lot in your hands. You have the mindset of your client in your hands. When somebody puts their training program and their fitness in your hands, they are trusting you. So it's not just about what the client pays you. It is the trust the client is putting in you. So you have to give the very best of yourself and trust that the very best of yourself will translate onto the client, and you will be able to make a big difference in that client's life.
Man.
Whew. Amazing.
Maria, I would say that your headphones are on fire right now. That was good.
That was good though. But yeah, once again, Maria, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom today. I know that just like some of these little just like tips that you gave away is going to really hit home with just like, some of the listeners and stuff. So I appreciate that. So where can the audience connect with you and see all the cool stuff that you're doing?
All right. Well, Instagram, I'm Strong Maria Strong on Instagram, and on TikTok, I'm Strong Maria on TikTok.
Okay. Awesome.
I want to see you guys dancing on TikTok pretty soon.
Gosh, you know what? We have a TikTok, and like that's why I'm fascinated when you tell me about like just like getting clients on there, and maybe we are missing the boat. Maybe we need to put our ego to the side and just get on there. So I can at least admit that I just don't like TikTok, but still I need to be a little bit more open minded to it.
I made a really funny video yesterday that people loved. Somebody was telling me that my generation X, should be the silver generation. And so I just said, what do you mean a silver generation? I can outrun you, out train you, out angle you. We're the thug generation. And I put a picture of me as a thug. Oh my gosh. You have no idea the amount of likes I got from people of Generation X, like people who can relate to me. Yeah, we're thugs. You're right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, you definitely inspired me today. So again, thank you so much. That's why I love doing these interviews. So we'll have all that linked up in the show notes where people can find you and follow you. So once again, Maria, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, both of you. All the best to you.
Thank you. All right, guys, until next time. All right, guys, welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We got the awesome Dan Feldman with us. How you doing, Dan?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing well, man. We were just catching up a little bit just about like where we're from exactly and stuff, and how we kind of been just adapting just like with this COVID life.
Yeah. It's a very crazy time we live in.
Yeah.
It's an understatement. Yeah.
Fun times, but at least we're self-employed and we have like our own little like kind of like thing and bubble, right?
Exactly. We can kind of work from home. Don't have to worry so much about exposure and whatnot, which is definitely a big plus here.
Yep, exactly. Well, cool, man. I appreciate your time, and I know you're going to, deliver a lot of value on this for just like aspiring fit pros or seasoned fit pros as well too. So let's kick this off, Dan. So my first question is, how long have you been a fitness professional, and what is your number one go-to lead generation strategy to acquire clients?
So I've actually been working from home as a fitness professional full-time since middle of September. But I had kind of started the kind of private practice coaching kind of thing at the beginning of 2020. And I've actually been a registered dietitian since the middle of 2019 to kind of give a little bit of a timeline there. And as far as acquiring clients, I mean, I work for a company that actually gets me a lot of my clients. And then I do have some private clients that are just kind of work for me one-on-one. A lot of them are actually through social media. A couple have found out about me through Google, but generally it's just been through Instagram.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and just posting content.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend, just posting stuff, and I just kind of try to focus on hopefully providing some value to people based on my own experience and education, and hopefully that helps people, and I can form relationships, and then things happen from there.
Yeah. And you mentioned too that like there's a company that kind of like funnels you clients in a way, which I think that's pretty cool because that's actually something we actually advocate to our Fit Pro students is don't always like rely 100% on social media. Like look to see if there's people like in your radius or a company that can actually funnel you those clients. So how is that like kind of like structured? Is it a company that's like in health and nutrition and you're the kind of the go-to guy or?
Yeah. So they're a company in health and nutrition. Yeah. They, have a Facebook group where a lot of people are very active. So they have a lot of clients and they've hired actually a bunch of us coaches, just to do the coaching, so on that side of things, I don't have to worry about the marketing side of things there. It's sort of just a steady number of clients, which is very beneficial for me because I'm sure I don't have to tell you that it can be very stressful when you're just doing everything on your own, trying desperately to get clients, and you feel like it's quite literally like life or death. Like you're not going to have the income needed so that to have a steady stream of income from a reputable company that is really focused on helping people, and they do happen to have a large number of clients is very useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is something that you do like in your coaching practice that literally is kind of just like I would put it just. It can't be replaced. You do this unique experience with your clients to where nobody else can do it. This is exactly why people are working with Dan and his coaching company. Like, is there something you do just kind of in your coaching practice?
And even more importantly, like retention.
Yeah. So focused on my one-on-one clients specifically, because that's kind of how I just kind of focusing on that side of things. I really focus on, either every week or every other week, I do kind of have these face-to-face video chat calls with my clients. Nice. It's just very important for me to get that connection and to be able to use those kind of counseling skills to really talk to people and get kind of where they're feeling and really build that connection, that personal connection with people. I think that a lot of client acquisition, but also client retention does come down to building rapport and building relationships. People are more likely to work with you if they feel some sort of relationship there. So I think doing that, as well as, keeping in touch, here and there, like I have my clients, record what they eat and other stuff in sort of a journal. And I go in, every few days to kind of comment on stuff, just to let them know, like I'm here also supporting them, just to know that they really have that personal level of support and accountability, because it's, people can just track macros on their own. People can Google stuff and figure stuff out, and that's fine. But it's really having that personal support from someone who is really taking the time to make that connection with you that I found to be very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say, Dan, that like, what they're hiring us for is like hope, accountability, and certainty, right? Yeah. And as long as we're providing those, I mean, we're going to be able to break down those barriers, establish good, strong relationships, and they're going to pay, stay, and refer.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I 100% agree with what you're doing with that. And it's so important to just establish like trust and relationship with your clients. Mm-hmm. So let's kind of shift gears here and go into breaking past self-limiting beliefs, because I know we all have those. We still struggle with those till today. So let's keep this in the context of fear of getting started, the fear of failure, comparison syndrome, imposter syndrome, and a scarce money mindset. I know you're working with a company right now, but before you kind of took that plunge, was there any self-limiting beliefs that you were just kind of really just struggling with, and how did you break past them?
Well, yes, absolutely. And I think that most people have had those beliefs at some point. In fact, and frankly, if you've never had those beliefs, then that's probably a bad thing, because you do need some of that self-doubt to make sure that you to kind of keep yourself in line and to keep yourself humble. So yes, absolutely. As far as, well, I think imposter syndrome is one of the biggest ones, just because there are so many people, so many coaches out there saying all kinds of things online, and they at least sound very confident. People usually aren't going to put stuff out there into the internet ether unless they at least are able to sound very confident about it. So, I kind of compare that with myself where I'm like, oh my God, am I really an expert? Do I really know what I'm doing here? And it's very easy to kind of compare yourself and to get into that kind of imposter syndrome mindset. And honestly, I still have those thoughts.
Yeah,
like
100%.
It's a part of the journey, is also kind of realizing you never completely know what you're doing, and being okay with that, I think, has been a pretty huge thing for me. But just basically my view towards most things is I just try it really hard and really focus on helping other people and learning as much as I can and being okay with making mistakes and just not giving up and just keeping going. It sounds very like obvious, but I've been able to grow, and I'm still growing. Right. And that I'm just keeping going, I'm just kind of really keeping that kind of persistent mindset has been the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I appreciate you being honest, Dan. And just like, because again, like you said, it's like, that should be a quote written somewhere like that. We'll probably never know exactly what we're doing, but as long as we have that student cap on, we're growing, we're serving people, we have good intentions. I think the rest of it will kind of all collectively come together.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dan. So let's have some fun when we wrap this up right now. Let's say you were given a Super Bowl commercial and you had about 30 seconds. What kind of a 30-second commercial ad would you give to an aspiring fitness professional, knowing what you know?
I would probably do something along the lines of, do you know that like Shia LaBeouf meme where he's like, do it, just do it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If I had 30 seconds, I would probably have something along those lines of basically just being like, hey, like, be humble, but also like just put yourself out there, because there's other people out there who don't know what they're talking about, who are making all kinds of money and seeing all kinds of clients. So just freaking do it.
Yep.
And as long as you're humble and being open to learn as much as you can, and your intentions are there, just do it, because so again, I don't know if that really answers your question, but I would probably,
no, it's good.
It would honestly probably just be me sitting here. It would be a very low budget commercial. Just like, hey, I know you don't know what you're doing. Do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's just you saying, take action.
Pretty much.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. I don't know how that commercial would actually do in terms of like, but it's the best I could do.
Yeah, I like it though. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Dan. So where can the listeners keep up on kind of everything that you're doing, like through social media?
The best place would be Instagram. I am at Powerlifter Dietitian on Instagram.
Awesome. So guys, we'll have that linked up in the show notes. Go check out what Dan's doing. He's doing some cool stuff. So once again, Dan, thank you again for your time and just everything, just like your perspective and stuff.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, guys. Until next time. All right, guys. Welcome back to another Coach's Corner episode. We have the awesome Andrew Coates in the house. Andrew, how you doing today?
Not too bad. As I told you guys off air, a little bit of fatigue, but that's sometimes the life of a business owner. You got your own independent fitness business. So sometimes you end up a little tired from it all, but it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can relate. I mean, it's just like one of those things where it's just like you go. But I mean, we still have some sort of energy in us, right? We can find it.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, Andrew. So thanks so much for your time as well, too. I know you're going to deliver a lot of good stuff and value to aspiring fitness professionals or even seasoned veterans that can catch some really good nuggets. So let's jump into it. My first question to you is, how long have you been a fitness professional, and what is your go-to lead generation strategy tactic that has been working to acquire online clients?
Well, I've been doing this a little over 10 years, 6 years on a commercial gym floor and 4 years as a, contractor out of a friend's gym, but having my own business. And then for the last, I guess, maybe 3 of that, it's been a fitness writer and then podcasting as well. And that sort of stuff. My online business is a smaller portion of what I do because I love the in-person stuff so much anyway, that I'm not one of those people trying to grow away from it. And the same thing applies to online as it is to in-person training. It's referral business. It's serving the client in front of you really well, Just like anyone who's trying to grow a social media presence, instead of worrying about trying to attract a new follower, serve the existing followers. And people tend to refer people to people they love, whether it is a social media share or if it's a friend who wants a trainer. Hey, you need to go and see my trainer. So that's always served me well. And we were just talking about books before we got on here, and Never Lose a Customer, again, by Joey Coleman. I love. And I'm doing a reread of it right now. And I mean, he's talking about how, all these big companies have massive sales and marketing budgets, and yet there's not much left over for, customer service, customer retention. And a customer retained is far better than, a new customer in terms of the cost of acquiring. So I think a lot of people would also double up on getting great referral business by just doing such a really killer job of serving the client in front of you instead of worrying about finding new people, to where you don't have to find as many new customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and that's an awesome book, by the way. And one thing I love that he says is like, we're not in this like B2C, we're not in this B2B type of business. We're in this H to H, which is human to human, right? And it's so true. And that's why I love that you're doing the referral based stuff, because so many people want to acquire the next customer. They want to try the next like sexy, like social media, like platform out. But sometimes it's just good old referrals and taking care of people and serving them, right?
Totally. Yeah, nothing to add there.
100%, man. So the next thing I want to ask is like, what do you do kind of with your clients? And we can say they're the in-person clients or online clients, but what do you do, like kind of like your X like factor that just like really gives them a client experience, kind of like what Joey Coleman talks about in his book, like really gives them that client experience to retain them?
A big part of it is having a great relationship with them. Several years ago, you notice the fitness industry was making this push towards semi-private training because, your schedule's capped out. You need to, make more money. So this is a great way to do it. And you got 4 people over in different corners of the gym. You're going around in between them looking at the form, but they're mostly doing it themselves. Like, where the hell is the relationship in that? And I think some people can make it work, but I've always said, no, I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in grouping people up. You do a great job, and you can scale the what people will pay for your hour as you gain experience anyway. So you can earn more income. You can grow your online business. But same principle applies: is foster a great relationship with people. One of my first client this morning, he's big into World of Warcraft. I gave it up 11 years ago, but I love that stuff. Up on my mantle here, some Witcher stuff. Right? I love that stuff, and I'm a 255-pound, bodybuilder looking creature, but at the same time I grew up on RPGs and fantasy fiction and whatnot. So if you got people who are interested in that stuff, or video games, I train a whole bunch of software developers, then you can go deeper than just, it can't all be just fixing the technique on a Romanian deadlift. It can't all be tweaking macros. There comes a point where you've had people for a longer relationship where there's just no more technical stuff to talk about outside of the occasional thing. So you've got to fill that. It can't be dead silence, and people will return to you based on a relationship. And for new clients, one of the best ways to seal in a new client who really wants to return, who's still struggling to even come to the gym, there's that intimidation factor, or they just don't like exercise. They will return for the relationship. If they love the relationship, then they start developing those habits. And if the habits become embedded and they keep coming back for the relationship, well, A, they're consistent, which means results. And 2, you have a client for longer. And there's nothing dishonorable about having clients for longer and making more income that way.
Yeah, 100%, man. We had Nick Tuminillo on the podcast, and that's exactly one key thing he said. You have to be a good trainer from the neck up and the neck down. And the neck up means you have to be able to communicate and build those relationships with clients, Yeah, and just to even add to that point too, Andrew, I mean, just the fact that these clients are buying coaches, not coaching, right? So it's like you have to understand that as a coach, so you have to break down this wall and barrier to let them in and peel back layers to make the relationship build.
I love the way you guys go back and forth and just fill the void seamlessly. I'm going to make another reference if anybody gets it, if they know Firefly. If you know Firefly, great. If not, there's one season of it. It was canceled by Fox, fumbled, and then the movie Serenity. So there's a pair of twins, Fanti and Mingo, in the movie Serenity. You guys even look a little bit like them, but the way that they go on and on. So if you guys actually dare to watch this, anyone listening who gets this reference, they're going to totally know what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna have to look into that, but honestly, like we got used to just kind of like pushing each other's like knees or giving like little elbows. So we kind of got that down. I love it, man. So let's switch gears, Andrew, and let's talk about breaking past self-limiting beliefs, because let's face it, as entrepreneurs and just human beings, we're facing these every single day. So I want to know which one that you struggled with most when you first started. Was it the fear of getting started, the fear of failure, imposter syndrome, comparison syndrome, or scarce money mindset? And how'd you break past it?
I think everybody, imposter syndrome is a universal thing. You make a social media post about it and it goes nuts because it's such a real thing for everybody. We all, spotlight effect, we all live inside our own mind. We know our every insecurity, we know our every self-doubt, but we're only seeing other people's most poised, polished, confident presentation, certainly with social media, but even people who've been successful in our realm, notable names in our industry, they had their struggles along the way and now they look really polished. And then we end up comparing ourselves against people that we consider role models. You know, you mentioned a guy like Nick Tuminello. He's a guy who I've been reading his stuff on T Nation for a really long time. You know, I see his stuff on social media and then met him through my travels. He's become an industry friend. I've done some of his in-person coursework and had him on the podcast. An amazing individual, but it took Nick time to get there over the years, right? Really critical thinker. But the Nick you see now is not the trainer starting out. And sometimes it's important to remember that these people that we compare ourselves to went through the same process. And I don't know, I see imposter syndrome as not a negative thing at all. I see it as a sign that someone cares. They want to do a really great job. So when someone mentions it or expresses it, first of all, getting them to realize everybody deals with it is key. And then two, knowing that dealing with imposter syndrome means your mind is in the right place and you're on the right track. So how did I deal with it? I don't know. I just put my head down and kept gaining experience. And you look around and like, how the hell am I in this position? Okay, cool. You just go with it. And eventually you start to feel more and more confident in your abilities. And that's really just it. You just have to put your head down and get in the reps.
Yeah. Dude, I love that like mindset, like reframe of just like looking at it as a good thing and like you care and you want to put your best work out there. I love that. It's like first time I've heard that.
Exactly. And it's almost like someone saying like they have it all figured out or just like you can figure out the game of life. And that's impossible. You know, because there's always next phases, there's always next stages, seasons to where it's like you got to continuously grow and just have setbacks. And same thing with imposter syndrome.
Oh, totally. I mean, you hear about people talk about their failures. There are people in our industry, especially a lot of people on social media, who like to hide their failures. They like to make everything seem like it was perfect. But you listen to some of the most successful people in our world. Jordan Syatt is a wonderful example, a guy who great social media, but he started out writing a lot of articles and doing a lot of other things before he figured out how to blow up and get a lot of attention on social media. And Jordan is very open about the fact that his earliest YouTube and his earliest writing isn't very good, how he would write articles to mirror Eric Cressey in technical language instead of writing to the end user who would actually buy your services. So if you watch the really great people in our world, and if you follow their story, most of them will tell you similar things. And once you start to realize that, you're not as intimidated anymore by watching how polished and refined Jordan's stuff is because he has a videographer that he pays to go around with him because he's worked hard enough to put himself in that position.
Yeah. And it's just like I've said before, every master was once a disaster.
Yeah.
I like that. I might use that.
All right, Andrew. So let's kind of like wrap this up with some fun. So let's say you were granted a Super Bowl commercial for 30 seconds, right? What would this message be specifically tailored to aspiring fitness professionals with all the experience that you have?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I think most of the stuff that I do comes down to what is probably rooted in Stoic philosophy. I like the book, The Obstacle is the Way. It's
man, gold.
Ryan Holiday stuff. Ryan Holiday's a great author. And it's really just, you are in control of your attitude and your actions in the face of things beyond your control. And lots of crap's going to happen along the way that you can't control. So if you invest a lot of time and effort into educating yourself and learning, and it's not just defaulting to the easy stuff and reading one more article on how to do a hip hinge or one more article on how to calculate macros, but get into the business, get into writing, get into the things that are going to make you more successful, get more clients in front of you. You'll gain more experience that way, and your technical skills will be refined. You broaden those horizons, and that's just going to open a lot of doors to success, regardless of what kind of bullshit comes down the pipe along the way that you can't control.
Man, Andrew, there's fire. There's like flames on your shoulders, man.
I would say if you had the microphone, just pour some water on it. It was good though. I love that, and we're big fans of Ryan Holiday too. Love the other one too. Stillness is a Key. Very good book.
Daily Stoic too.
Yep.
All of them.
You got that one too?
It's here. It's right here.
Oh yeah.
Daily Stoic is right over there.
Yep.
Perennial seller. I think the only one I didn't bother reading was the one about Hulk Hogan and Gawker, which is probably kind of cool, but I wasn't as interested in that one. Conspiracy.
Check out Ego's Enemy. I mean, the whole
that's good
premise
too.
of the book is there, but it's good.
He's got
There
that
you
too.
go, man. You got it.
You're set.
Come on.
Right on, Andrew. So where can the listeners connect more with you and just see all the good stuff that you're doing?
All roads go through Instagram. So at Andrew Coates Fitness, and that's where you can find me. Obviously, I have a website. I really do need to get a revamp of the website. I don't utilize it to its fullest potential, but you can find links to my podcast, my writing for T Nation, and I got some publications coming up that I haven't officially announced yet, so we'll keep that under my hat. But all that stuff gets posted on Instagram. That's the best place to find me.
Awesome.
So we'll have all that linked up in the show notes. Once again, Andrew, thank you again for your time, all the wisdom. Guys, go follow Andrew and see all the stuff he's doing. Until next time.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for watching that episode on the Coach's Corner. Nothing but value, right? Value and experience from other online fitness coaches to give you some really good ideas about lead gen, retention, client experience, the whole shebang. So if you want to learn how to get to 10K months as an online fitness coach, here's what I want you to do. I want you to watch this video right here. We did a full teaching on how to get to 10K months as an online fitness coach. Hopefully you're not charging $50 to $100 a month as an online fitness coach. That's not the game you want to be playing. So make sure to watch this video on how you can get to 10K months as an online fitness coach. And again, let me know what your biggest takeaway was, from this coaches roundtable below. All right. Other than that, we'll see you in the next video.